Hey everyone, welcome back to Gamecasters. Today I'm going to be doing a beginner's guide on Warframe. Warframe is, in my opinion, probably one of the best free-to-play games out there that will not ask you to pay a dime to access the content that is in the game. There is some stuff that you can pay for, obviously, but none of it is to gain an edge over the game. It's more of a progress speed up thing, but at the end of the day, you're still going to have to put in the work for all that stuff, and it's not got a competitive element to it. So, starting off, a lot of the content I've seen for Warframe, not all of it, I'm not saying all of it is bad, but there is not a lot of great beginner guides on things, and I'm not going to say by any means that I'm going to make a perfect one here. But this is kind of to ease any of those overwhelming thoughts that you might get jumping into Warframe. So at its core, Warframe is it's not your traditional style of MMO or shooter that you might be used to. They do a very good job of keeping it unique to their own way, but also taking inspiration from other forms of popular media. Not to say that they steal, but they do. You will see inspiration from other things, and they turn it into their own thing. So Warframe doesn't have your traditional leveling system. You have an account level, but the way that works is the higher your mastery rank is, which is your account level, that allows you to use higher tier equipment. So once you reach a higher mastery rank, you can get higher tier weapons and warframes and stuff that you can use that will then be able to get stronger. Um, However, a lot of the equipment in the game is capable of running through most, if not all, of the content. There is some weapons that are not going to perform the best in some of the content, but that's what I'm here to hopefully help out with. So I have stripped myself down to the bare bones, and this is all equipment that you can have as soon as you start the game. This is all mastery rank 1 stuff early on. I do have a couple of mods on. I'm not entirely sure. I did my best to research some things. If it's not something that I found that is like easy to get super early on in the game, I can at least explain to you how you can fast track your progress to getting those things to kind of help you out. One of those things I know is the amp that I have on Volt right now, but that is something that is easily obtainable literally like after a couple of days of playing this. And I'm not saying like a couple of days of in-game time, but like if you play a few hours every couple of days or whatever, you can get it. So there's a little thing called the Nightwave, which is essentially their form of a battle pass. You do not have to pay a dime to access the battle pass. It's for everyone. You have complete access to it. There might be some challenges that you won't be able to complete until you've unlocked the content, but you complete these challenges, you get points towards the Nightwave, and then you unlock things. At certain tiers, you gain things called credits. Those credits can be used in the offerings page. These are completely in-game currency that you get earned by completing challenges through the Nightwave. These cards, which right now you can actually get it, the rifle amp, you can get for 20 credits in the Nightwave. Super easy to access. I believe the first stack of credit, yeah, you get 150 credits after completing the first Nightwave tier. You can get an amp or a card, whatever you want, as soon as you get 10,000 of the Nightwave points, which the highest ones in here give 7,000 on their own. So you complete like 2 or 3 of these challenges, and you'll have the credits to get yourself an aura card. So super easy to get. I didn't get something late game on there, Most of these are cards that you'll get very early in the game. Streamline and Intensify might be a little bit later on, but I'm going to show you how far this bare bones build can take you. Obviously, this is a lowest of low volt that I can do. This does not have a reactor on it. To explain what a reactor is, for anyone who does not know, reactors will double the mod capacity of your Warframe. Now, personally, I don't recommend doing this a lot unless it's on a prime Warframe, which has higher stats. There's your regular Warframes, and then there's your prime Warframes. Obviously, if you're brand new to the game, if you get a reactor, put it on the Warframe that you plan on building out and taking you long term. I hate to use reactors on non-prime Warframes, but I also understand that if you're new to the game, you're probably not going to have a prime Warframe unless you trade for one, which you could do, but most people aren't. So if you have a Warframe that you're really enjoying, then by all means put a reactor on there. Again, you can get those from the Nightwave for credits. Literally, I think, if I'm correct, you could go into the Nightwave if you complete that first challenge. As soon as you get that first tier of those credits done, you could get yourself an aura card and a reactor in one go for that 150 credits. So you could very early on get your Warframe rolling. So by all means, do that. Exilus adapters are a little bit later. You don't have to pay for those credits, but I don't have any currently, so it's an option that I can unlock that slot. You will not have arcanes early on, so ignore that section of the screen. Again, I have bare bones this. Some of my mods aren't even fully upgraded because I wanted to try to bring them down to early game status. These are cards. These main four right here are ones that you're probably going to have starting off. I believe you get redirection and vitality right out the gates. I'm not entirely sure about steel fiber. I could be wrong, but it is a common card. But armor is super important. It gives you damage reduction on your health, so definitely highly useful. Shield recharge is great. Shield recharge delay, that will help you immensely. All of that on top of having more health, and shield capacity is great. I have Streamline to reduce the casting cost of my abilities, and Intensify gives me strength. Now, strength will increase how much your stats on your abilities do. Streamline changes the efficiency, which efficiency brings down the cost of energy to use those abilities. If you've ever played like a magic user and an RPG or something like that, it's your mana. Energy is your mana, it's your casting cost, and then your strength is how strong the damage or the effect of those abilities is going to be. You also have range, that's self-explanatory, it's how far your ability can go, and duration, if the ability has a timer on it, will increase how long the effect stays active. There's a lot more that can go into depth on that, but this is just to get you started. You can obviously find a lot of videos, and I cannot crunch all the information that this game has into one singular video. My weapon, running bare bones mods, no catalyst, I believe it's called, for these. You can do the same thing to your weapons. If you're going to put one of these into a weapon, make sure it's one you're going to go far with. Please don't put it into the MK1 weapons. The MK1 Bratton is a mastery rank 1 weapon. That one is not going to take you super far. It can, but you will have better options to use your resources on very quickly. So the way mastery rank weapons work is you will be able to early on get better weapons. So each time you fully level up a weapon or just get levels on a weapon, that will increase your mastery rank. When you increase your mastery rank, you again gain access to better weapons. Something that is not pointed out super early on in the game is you can go into the market, you can go in here to weapons. This is something I even wish I would have known sooner. Um, Pick which type of weapon you want. It could primary, secondary, melee, whatever. For the sake of this, I'm going to go into primary. Now, you have a little thing up here. Now, there's a filter up here. You can hide items that do not have blueprints. The weapons that have blueprints or don't have blueprints are usually earned by other means in the game, or you can get them with platinum. Again, paid currency. However, please, by all means, do not buy weapons from the market this way. Everything in here is earnable, and honestly, some of these are a little overpriced for what they are. Um, but everything, you're still going to have to level it up. You're still going to have to put the mods on it. You're going to have to put in all the work to make the weapon even worth using. So you basically just get the slate for the weapon, and then you have to put in work. Now, there is a beautiful little filter up here that hides items without blueprints. So if you click that wonderful little button up there, you can see a list of weapons. Oh, what's all this? These are new things I can use, right? So say I reach mastery rank 10, or even better, I'm going to show you guys a weapon that I highly recommend getting early on in the game, especially if you like sniper rifles. Another one is this one, which is one of the best weapons in the game, especially if you get the prime version of it. But I'm going to show you guys the Rubico. So this is a mastery rank 6 weapon, super early in the game. You can go in here for 20,000 in-game credits, buy the blueprint for this, and you can craft it. Now, granted, you're going to need argon crystals, which you have to get from a little bit of a later game location, but you can essentially do this with all the weapons that show up in here that have a blueprint. So say I want the Boltor, I go in here, buy the blueprint. Most of the resources for this are extremely easy to get, and it's super low cost. It's a mastery rank 2 weapon, and it's a pretty good weapon. So look through here, find a weapon that is usable at your mastery rank. If you can afford to craft it, do that. Beyond that, you can do that with some of the Warframes you can get the blueprints for. You do have to get parts for those Warframes to craft them, but you can get the blueprints for a lot of them from there, and those parts for a lot of the Warframes are fairly easy to get. There's some that are a little bit grindier, but those are late game Warframes that you're going to work towards. So again, this is my build. I'm not even using a companion. That's something you get as you go in the game. You can have cats, dogs, loosely using that term without spoiling things entirely. But you can get little drones, stuff like that. Neat stuff that can help you out a lot. But those are just some of the additional content things. So I'm going to show you guys a little bit of... Actually, hold on. Let me go over my mods. So this is a Bratton. This is a mastery rank 1 weapon. I have just a basic damage card on it. I have heat on it, which I highly recommend going for heat early in the game. Depending on what faction you're fighting, certain damage types are better. So if you want to get into all that detail, you can, but heat is a high-end damage type that you'll want. I put fire rate on here. I'm not entirely sure if this is a early card. I could be wrong on that part. I know these are uncommon cards, but you'll get them fairly early in the game. So by all means, new user friendly. And again, most of the entire first 2 planets you could run through with no mods on your weapons, and you'll do just fine. Your Warframe alone, especially if you pick Volt, will carry you through a lot of that. Excalibur and Mag are more than capable of running through some stuff. Honestly, I would probably say Excalibur bare bones is probably capable of going a lot further than both of them without any mods on him, but that's strictly because of one of his abilities that's really useful, and he's also capable of being built out into a late game character. Volt and Mag are as well, but they each have their uh, different traits that are useful in different scenarios. So this is the star chart. If you haven't gotten to that point yet, there are some places on here you will not have access to early on in the game. You will start on Earth. Again, like I said, these are the first 2 planets that you're going to have access to. I believe you can go to Venus as well. Yeah. So you go from Earth, you can go to either Mars or Venus first. Venus, I think, only takes you to Mercury, and then that path ends there. But then from Mars, you can go to Deimos, you can go to Phobos, you can go to Ceres. A lot of content you can go into. There's open world areas on Earth, Deimos, Venus, and I might be forgetting one here. Oh, another location, but later game stuff. Spoilers, don't want to talk about it, so we'll just avoid that for now. I guess, Ceres would be a good. We won't go into a. I'm gonna go on invite only here, just so, because I know I will get thrown into something where people are just tearing through stuff, and that's not going to help show anybody anything. It's only 12 to 14, but just to show how a little bare bones Volt can do with Mastery rank 1 weapons with barely any mods on them, it can carry you pretty far. And again, if you use my tips, go to the market, get a higher Mastery rank weapon, or just find another weapon that you like. The variety to the weapons in this are insane. So, you're not going to be one-shotting things with the Bratton early on. I mean, you probably could if you are insanely good at pulling headshots constantly, but Volt has a wonderful ability that will be fun to use throughout your entire time playing the game. It's called Speed. So Speed, at first glance, you might think, oh, that just increases how fast I move. Speed works for more than that. Speed works for your fire rate as well, which can make things incredibly damaging. Weapons that are normally slow on fire rate become monsters because of fire rate, if it's capable of having a faster fire rate. So again, this is a Mastery Rank 1 Bratton with 3 mods on it, and I'm tearing through enemies on Ceres. Now, obviously they're only level 12s, it's not going to be end-game content because levels at that point get up higher, but for a Mastery Rank 1 weapon, handles pretty good. And again, you can put more mods on it, you can upgrade those mods and get even higher. So Volt is more than capable, especially with the right weapon, of going through a majority of the content in the game. Honestly, I would say if you were to build out your Volt correctly, he could carry you through the entirety of the star chart with no issues at all. Just, do your research. Don't waste your resources, which I'm going to go ahead and back out of this because no point in wasting my time running through an entire mission, but you can see what a bare bones weapon is capable of. It's not, crazily modded out. It's not unobtainable. It's not, here's this big shiny thing, go for this, whatever. You don't need it by any means. So that brings me to another very big point I have. So modding things. You have access to this modding station. I don't know how early you gain access to it, but when you do, you have a resource called Endo. Endo is used for ranking up your cards. You go in here, you select a mod you want to upgrade, you go up here to the fusion, and you just click how many levels you want to give it. You pay a amount of endo and you pay amount of credits, and that upgrades your card. Look up the mods that you're using. Uh, Make sure if they are worth upgrading endo. There's a lot of mods in the game, and it's going to take you a lot of endo to ever. I will say you would be far stretched to ever fully upgrade every single mod in this game. So don't waste those resources early on in the game because you will need them to fully upgrade. Certain cards go up higher than others, and it gets very expensive to get those late level cards upgraded. I'm just going to use this one as an example. This has 10 ranks. If I wanted to fully upgrade this from 0, it will cost me 30,000 endo and 1.4 million credits. Sounds like a lot, which it is for a new player, but it's easily obtainable later on in the game. So, with that said, you should look up what mods you are upgrading before you do it. Another tidbit of information is if you're in here, you're going to see this. You can sell mods for credits. Please don't sell them for credits. It is the worst thing you can do. Credits are so easy to get. You will use a lot of them. Don't get me wrong. Dissolve your spare mods for endo. You will get tons, and I mean tons, of spare mod cards. I don't have a lot in here right now because I just recently went through and cleared out a lot of mine. But I have 4 copies of the same exact card. You only ever need one. That mod can be used on every single piece of equipment you have that can use that mod. So you do not need multiple copies of those mods to put on multiple pieces of gear. You just need the one. That serration I have on my Bratton can be used on every single primary weapon that I have. So please don't waste those resources. Again, I can go in here, I can select 3 out of the 4 I have, go over here, dissolve it for endo, boom. I don't need those anymore. I just need the one. So, just a quick tip. Obviously, there are going to be a lot of things I can't cover in this video, but hopefully this kind of helps you early on, give you an understanding of how to play Warframe. I know there's going to be tons of questions you might have. If you need answers, leave a comment down below the video. I promise you I will do my best to respond to every single one of them. And honestly, if you need help in this game, let me know. Leave a comment, and I will add you in the game. Honestly, you can join the clan that I'm in on here. I will by all means help you however I can. If you need some of those early game mods, I get tons of them constantly. I would be more than willing to trade them to you. By all means, anybody who's watching this that wants to get their foot in the door of Warframe, I will do my best to help you out in any way I can. But that being said, there's a lot more information. I'll probably do more videos like this explaining more of the stuff in the game. But this is right out the gates, early game stuff, just kind of getting your foot in the door, kind of easing your mind on all the crazy things you're going to see. One last thing I will add. There is a trading chat in the game. Please don't use that. You will get, I don't want to use the word scammed, but you will get taken advantage of in there. People tend to overprice things in there. There's a website you can use called Warframe Market. It will show you people who have been rated by other people who have traded with them, and it will show you how much they're wanting to trade for things, what they're wanting to trade for things. Use that. Promise you it is 100 times better, and you'll be able to find the right deal for what you're looking for. You can see cost by tier and all that, and it's just so much better. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching.